All right, friends, let's get rocking. What do we say? We got 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Let me let's do a stop reset and start again.
20 minutes. 30 minutes.
I'm Jake Schriner.
I'm Bob Nelson. I'm Tracey White.
And I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast. It's like a mime wave. There's audio on this, right?
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
See the bars, they're moving.
Yeah, the bars are moving. Okay, well, hey, you know what? Welcome back. Thanks for joining us tonight. So glad that you're here. Let's go around the table, see how everybody's doing since last week. We've been kind of consistent here lately. Mm-hmm. All right. Jake, how are you?
I'm good. So the past week at work was a little bit busier than usual, which is nice. Things are ticking up a little bit, which is making things less stressful for me, which is always nice. Had to deal with a sick child this weekend, so was not in attendance yesterday. But I did
virtually.
I'll get to that. So I watched the message today, but for
awesome.
So yesterday, I was sitting on the couch with Harper. Club was working all day yesterday, so it was just Harper and I. Sitting on the couch, had the live stream up and everything, and then after the first song, you asked the question, "Have you guys ever experienced any, technical issues, something going wrong and stuff?" And so, my phone just stopped. Like, I couldn't get the stream back up. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. This is, like, I wish I could text
I had
it
no
right
idea the
now.
power I had.
So,
It's amazing.
I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there on the phone, on the couch with my phone, I just go, that's unbelievable. So
was it your phone? Was it?
It was something, I don't know if it was my internet or my phone, but all of a sudden, we've been having issues on and off with our internet the past few nights. For the most part, it works pretty well, but intermittently, it'll just pick a point where it just like stops everything for a few minutes. So I reloaded, or I closed Facebook, tried to load it up again, hop back on, it kicked me off right away, like the whole deal. So I don't know what was going on. I mean, my phone's less than a year old, so. But I did think it was kind of funny.
The Bible app was down.
Well, I remember you saying that. Yeah,
it was crazy.
So so that was I had a little bit of a chuckle with that. But I did watch the message. Usually on my Monday after work on my drives home, I'll watch the message, even if I've been at church the day before, because it's just kind of a nice,
You said on your drive home, you watch the message.
Well, I put it on Facebook Live, but I set it down next to me, so I listened to the message. But it is like I could watch it while driving if I wanted to. But I listened to the message.
You need a Tesla for that.
And so, so I'm familiar with what you went over yesterday. So
good. You can remind me.
Excellent.
Scraps.
Yeah, scraps. They're flowing robes.
All right, we get to that.
But and then
Just flowing robes.
of course the weather didn't cooperate yesterday, so we weren't able to do our garden work day. So we're gonna hopefully see how it pans out for next Sunday.
Well, Kyle and Melissa are very excited about finally joining us.
Are they going to finally
gardening?
come out? Awesome.
They were talking about it Sunday.
Very cool.
Too,
that'll. I'm looking forward to that. Whenever that may happen, it's going to be a really good day.
We'll have to train everybody.
That's fine.
Maybe we just need to have a garden meeting, if nothing else, after church on Sunday.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about what we're doing, what we're not doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll kind of give the breakdown for what we're doing on day one. Because day one's not going to involve planting anything. It's just going to be prepping this plot. And then, mid-May, typically the weekend after Mother's Day is when we want to wait until, and then we'll plant out, all of it. I may have started my hot pepper seeds too soon, though, because they're going...
Oh, really?
Oh, they're huge now, yeah. And now
Since
it's getting
the snow you've been by?
No. Like in my basement at home, because I did the seed starts, and now they're getting way too big for the cups that I have.
Oh no!
And that presents a problem because if you continue to leave them in a small container, they can get root bound and they can
choke themselves out.
Yeah, they develop some pretty major issues that take a few weeks after replanting for them to heal before they continue to grow. So I'm hoping that our planting day is sooner rather than later, but of course.
Otherwise, you're gonna start hearing little voices in there. Feed me.
Well, yeah, some are like way too big, and then other ones that I've started more recently, like the sweet pepper seeds. Those are going to be really tiny when we plant them, but that's not a problem. The problem now is that the hot pepper seeds have gotten way too big, and I don't have any good containers to put them in to like pot them up a size. Because if I go up a bigger container size, they won't fit in my little grow area anyway. So it'll be all right.
I wonder if we probably have some
Pepper.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. We still got a few weeks. Like they'll be fine. Most of them are going to be perfectly fine. There's just a few that have really shot up and gotten really tall, and now they're getting close to the lights. And yeah, they're definitely outgrowing their containers. But we'll be okay. Yeah.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me, Seymour.
And huge shout out to Bob for helping with the signs after church yesterday.
Yeah, huge shout.
Thank you very much.
No
Appreciate
problem. That our system worked perfecly.
Good.
That's
true.
Kind of how you had a problem, I fill in. So
Now this is going to happen in reverse in a few weeks. Bob will be in another country.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'll be gone for one Sunday in June too.
you
Just
can't
a
do
heads
that.
up.
So anyway,
Request denied.
I have to reschedule my flights.
just kidding. All right. I'm sure that's going to be the case all around.
Oh yeah.
We'll have some behind the scenes with major changes that are just happening naturally in the course of life. Tracy. God is using in a powerful way circumstances. So yeah, we're going to have a big retooling and kind of re-upping our group a bit as we go from summer into the new year. It should be very fun.
Yeah.
Except it won't be as fun because you won't be here.
I don't know. Maybe God has a
Insert
different plan.
little violin here. It's just one of those things. I'm like trying to imagine Compass Church without Tracy camping.
It's just too hard to.
It's gonna be
retire.
weird. Your face is on all images everywhere. It's gonna look weird when you're not there.
We'll come back. Well, I guess
We'll take a picture and
Just
just
have to
put it
come
on
back
as a
every
mask
Sunday.
every night. Could you do that? It's not much of a drive.
all right.
Quick flight.
Oh my goodness.
All right, no,
Gonna
no
pick us
more.
up every time.
Sure, why not? All right, I'm sorry. We've done it.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Yes, that's
I'm sorry, Jake.
everything I wanted to share. So.
We meet somewhere in the world every week. But wait. Oh, next here, Bob Nelson. How are you, sir?
So yeah, doing really good. It was a pretty easy day, but yesterday we finalized all of our lodging in England.
Cool.
Talking about.
Tell us all where you're going.
So we're actually doing kind of a round trip of England and Scotland. We start in London, stay there for a couple of days, meet some of Joy's friends up in Norwich, which is just kind of on the southeast coast. And going from there to York up to pretty much straight as you can go in England, to Edinburgh. Which is spelled Edinburgh, so I don't know where they get the. Yeah, it's English. Yeah, and we might on the way. We're hoping we might be able to spend some time with another friend of Joy's. This is the kind of cool thing. We have friends over there.
Yeah, you do.
That is pretty cool.
Say hello to my kin over there. I found any Leckies or McLeckies living in.
So as we're coming back from Edinburgh, we're meeting
The fighting McLeckies.
Aiden's parents, in Carlisle, and we've already booked lodging there. We're gonna stay a couple nights there with them, and then from there drop all the way down to Stonehenge, stay there in a really nice place for a couple of nights, and then our last night over at Heathrow just to make sure we're at the airport in time.
Hey, when you're at
Nice.
Stonehenge, could you just go ahead and adjust the clock for daylight savings?
It's true. It's probably drifted a little bit.
Move those rocks.
So yeah, we're really excited about the whole trip.
Yeah.
Now we've just got to figure out what we're going to do while we're there, to fit into things. So
And you're going to be out
Eat
3 Sundays?
yeah, just 2 Sundays. We'll be
Really?
there the Sunday that we leave on the 12th, and
Okay.
and then out the next 2. So because we don't leave till like 6 o'clock at night, so it's not definitely no big deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, so really excited about that. When we were talking about the things that didn't work for you, the things that broke down, Joy had a great story that she was sharing on, which is our honeymoon. And I'm going to fill in a couple of details. So we just went to Idaho Springs for the weekend, and I'd already had the problem with this car before. The Plymouth Grand Voyagers, don't buy them, don't recommend. But it had melted through the accelerator cable once before, which was really, it makes it where you can't really press the gas.
Yeah.
So I knew what was happening as we were driving up there, and we were able to idle into the parking lot.
Oh, wow.
I knew that the part was pretty cheap, and it was only a 5-minute fix, maybe 10 at most. I had the tools on me. The hard part was finding the parts, which turned out to not be that hard. And it was cheaper to get it shipped up the hill than it was when it was down.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that one out. So, yeah, but it forced us to walk around the entire time. We got the last day we were there, we got the part, I put it in, we went horseback riding, came back down. It was all good. And I also figured out why it kept on melting on me and stopped that problem. So... But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think our honeymoon was more fun because of that thing breaking.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, life was good.
Life was good. Okay. All right. Awesome. Glad you're here as always, Bob. And nice to shed a little light on that story.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I'm gonna jump across the pond. I'm sorry, no, across the table to Tracey White.
Hello.
How are you?
You
It's like we just
right?
talked. We were just talking. We were talking during Jake's time.
Work was work.
Sorry about that.
Work is always work. Yeah, just work. And still working on the house and getting things ready and all that kind of good stuff. What else? The thing that we talked about before pressing record, which y'all don't get to know that.
Wait a minute.
I guess the only other thing that of interest would be the sleep therapy that I've been doing.
Yeah, how's that going?
I think it's paying off. I'm feeling pretty good.
Excellent.
So, I'm still tired. I get the evening, crashed, but I'm making it through the day and, sleeping.
I'm glad to hear that.
And that's kind of a big deal.
It is a
And then the only other thing I want to ask you is, what do you call a one-legged hippo?
I don't know. What do you call a one-legged hippo?
A hoppo.
Okay, that was a redeeming joke from last time. That was much better.
I had to. Yeah. It was the joke at the on my
pretty
calendar.
good.
Johnny, how you doing?
A little delirious, but aside from that, doing really well. Now you're talking about sleep. So I had to take Michael to the airport at like 3:30 on Thursday. I guess it was Friday morning. Then didn't get back to sleep. I didn't get to go back to sleep. So I was at school all of Friday to a point where Lori, the principal, she said, "You need to go home." just go. I mean, it's like after I finished my kind of main duty that I did. Duty. Jeez. After I finished that main responsibility, which is what will happen in the edit.
It's got to be one of those podcasts, folks.
Yeah. So after that,
Don't believe it.
I was able to go home, did a couple of errands, and so I left a little early, but I just couldn't. I was starting to feel, I'm just feeling, there's been a lot of stress from a lot of areas that you guys understand, that kind of thing, and it just wears on your body. Anything stress on your mind becomes stress on your body, then with sleep issues. So anyway, the add to that I really literally had not had a lot of sleep. And then, anyway, there was more to that, and that's part of why, Saturday morning, we didn't meet Saturday morning. I just was toast. Not just sleepy, I just had been going. That's not good. It's never good. So by the time I got home Sunday, I literally sat on the couch and we ate a little something, and I was like, I think I need a nap. And you guys know that's a bad sign, usually for me. So on my TV, I usually hit an ambiance thing, right? With fireplace when you guys are visiting. It was a stupid fireplace on YouTube or something. Well, I found the ocean, just a calm beach, and I just kind of leaned back on the couch. I was out for 3 solid hours.
Wow.
I mean, out. But I woke up very refreshed, and I thought, oh no, I'm never going to sleep tonight. But no, I slept just fine that night.
Very nice.
So anyway, I thought about you and your sleep issues during this weekend. I'll probably have this problem tomorrow since I'm not going to get to bed till midnight plus. But anyhow, so that's the sleep story. So anyway, today was just fine. The only thing about today is that I had to refill my blood pressure medicine. I just forgot, I'm out. So I went to have that refilled, and they basically said, no, you got to see a doctor before we can refill it. I was like, oh, okay. Well, they usually give me a couple of emergency pills because it's like, what if I have a heart attack on my way to the parking lot, man? You want that on your shoulders? You want that on your conscience? So anyway, so I tried to figure out a way to do an appointment, and anyway, it's all fuzzy. I'm not going to be able to even have somebody do a blood pressure type of check until Wednesday. So I am not on blood pressure medicine. I'm flying without a net, even tonight. Without a net.
I didn't see a net there on
I didn't see it either. We're all flying without a net right now. So anyway, I think that's all I got for you today in terms of stories. So let's talk about the weekend or something else. Quickly. Something else. What do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Yeah, because we
got
are
time remaining. About yesterday, what's coming up? All
scribes.
Those darn scribes.
Scribes.
All right. Yeah, so we can talk about the message.
Devouring widows' homes.
Hey, yeah.
That Cookie Monster.
Yeah, right. Can't believe they did that.
All right, so we have all of the various guys who come after Jesus. We're still in Mark 12, and yesterday we saw Jesus teaching about the scribes. So that's in particular the scribes he called out. But truthfully, he could have called out any of them at that point. At various times, he certainly did. But yeah, what about all that?
Just thinking, it's interesting that a scribe would, a couple passages earlier, would come to him with a very heartfelt question, and seemed openly heart, and then he's bam.
Yeah,
Here's the rest of you.
hey, you're not far from the kingdom. But you guys,
But the rest of you guys,
all the rest of you guys sitting in these places of honor with your big fancy robes and telling everybody you want to be addressed. Sorry. It reminded me of something military.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever after I made chief,
Yeah.
every time I would go into a room, everybody would
Stand up.
And that's custom and courtesy.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And I was like, oh man, now I feel bad for everybody standing up.
That's a different,
I'd always go, sit down.
that's a different thing, right? That's
No,
a
that was
protocol.
funny, I know. It's funny.
Well, I was only going to say about that. What would we just say? No, I'll get to it in a minute. What do you guys want to say?
It is interesting, like a lot of the times you'll hear people, they're a big issue with Christianity is because there are pastors that are still like that.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Right.
and
Yes.
people will look at all of them and go, well, if he claims to be a Christian, then obviously this can't be, right and stuff. And they're not wrong. It's not right what all of those pastors are doing and stuff. But to think that that's some sort of like something that
Excuse.
developed in the 20th century, or like it's a new
Right,
age thing,
right.
It's like no, that's been going on for thousands of years now.
That's right.
You have people in power that are taking advantage of their situation and not, holding to the responsibility that they're supposed to have, and really it gives a very, very poor name for Christianity or Judaism or wherever it may be, where they're supposed to be instead helping people and interpreting things in the right way and stuff.
Yes.
And obviously a big example of it would be, the Catholic Church throughout the medieval times and Middle Ages and stuff,
Right.
because they had all sorts of rules and everything about that, and indulgences and all this extra stuff, and they were very upset when the Bible was translated into like German and English because they could no longer lie to people about, oh no, it's in Latin, only we can interpret. Yeah. But yeah, like they think that it's a sort of a modern day problem, and it's not. That issue has been around for.
Well, my understanding too is that apparently pride has been a thing for a long time.
Yes, absolutely.
Way back. Let's see.
Cain was kind of the first hypocrite. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Well, and of
That's
course,
where it started, right?
I think we all, and I tried to mention this, that we all sort of innately have a tendency towards that, right? Pride and puffed up kind of nature. And even when we are doing our best sometimes to try and be humble, it comes across as a humble brag sometimes, right? Because we don't want to puff ourselves up. We just need a right view of ourselves. And that doesn't mean that you're just a worm. We're obviously valuable in God's sight. But a proper one is just understanding where we are in relationship to God and to where the glory goes. I remember a friend at one time, they sang this beautiful song in church, and people would tell me, man, your voice was beautiful, that was awesome. They go, oh, no. I give all the credit to God. Don't tell me, And they were just like batting people away. Well, it's sort of a false humility. What if you go, oh, thank you, that's so kind of you, I'm thankful that God has helped me to, give glory to the Lord, but don't act like you're not acknowledging the gift or whatever.
Right.
Anyway. But there was something you said at the beginning, and now I'm going to watch this later, and I know what I thought I was going to say, and I can't remember it.
I should have been.
I'm guessing it wasn't about the Hoppo.
It wasn't the Hoppo.
Was it after the Hoppo?
It was after Hoppo.
After the Hoppo?
Groucho and Hoppo.
Mark's my weird voice. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that was hard. I don't know.
All right, we've gone back down in the pit.
Yep.
Let's come back up.
Okay.
So you were talking about, what was it you were talking about at the beginning of that, about the, everybody standing, or something?
Yeah.
It was something around there.
Yeah. But that, I mean,
Or,
huh?
or was it about what you said? I can't remember. You guys keep talking. It's going to come to me.
You're tired, aren't you?
I'm just kind of weird.
That is okay, right. Okay.
Oy. Well, those guys, I mean, they were, it is kind of weird. You said that about the guy who was seeking, and I don't think that the scribe who asked the honest question literally came to that situation with a kind and sweet heart. I think that he may have actually been part of the delegation that was there, and just as he was listening, he was beginning to see, and sort of his mind started to open up a little bit, his heart started to be softened, because it even said, he heard that Jesus had answered them all well. And so that's what made him ask, not sort of a, I'm going to get you question, but an honest one. So he wasn't far from the kingdom of God, but again, he wasn't in the kingdom of God. I remember now.
Aha.
That is, this guy, this is true of all of us, that even if you're close to the kingdom of God and you understand his love, you still have to deal with truth.
Yes.
And truth is, in his situation, scribes, and you are one, are guilty of sin. Right? You are guilty of the sin of pride. You're guilty of all of those things. So rather than him standing there, we would hope, there's no record of any response beyond what we've already read that I'm aware of this scribe suddenly turning. But you would hope, I'm spitting.
Did you get that?
Our drinks are all
Hop,
covered,
you can
but-
hope, hop, spit. You would hope that he would hear those words and then be convicted of his sin.
Right.
So it's not like Jesus is like now telling you that this is, I know you were close, but now, no, he's still speaking truth and doing so in love, even though it's pretty sharp. And we have to acknowledge, if you don't think you need forgiveness for sin, you certainly don't need Jesus. You're still your own God, and you're going to work it out. You're going to be okay. So that was the point.
That pushes you farther from the kingdom of God.
So it's very important that he understood that the way he had been living and acting as a scribe was very offensive to God and was the opposite of what it meant to follow Christ. So that was what I was going to say.
Uh-huh.
Ha ha. Glad it came back. That would have bugged me.
Ha ha!
Ha ha! Ha ha at you.
That is sort of a reoccurring theme, though, within Matthew and Mark in particular, is the Jesus' constant criticism of the Pharisees, where they earlier in Mark when they're chastising his disciples for not washing before before eating and doing all this stuff, and he tells them, you're so focused on tradition that you've sort of lost the whole, or so focused on ritual, you've just lost the whole idea with it. Yes.
You whitewash tombs. You look great on the outside, but boy, on the inside, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, and you're right. It has been a common theme, and I really do think it's like it bugs us when there's someone who's a so-called Christian, and they do something horrible or stupid or offensive and mean or immoral, or a pastor, of a big church, has been stealing money or something weird,
Mm-hmm.
And that really, really bothers us. But we always need to keep in mind it bothers God even more because it is representing to the world a picture of what it means to follow Jesus that is not what following Jesus looks like. And so I think that's why the harsh words from Jesus are always there about that kind of so-called religion. And even in Revelation, where he's talking to a church and telling them that they're not hot or cold, it makes him want to vomit. The thing about being hot or cold rather than lukewarm, it's kind of weird to say, but you'd rather be cold than even lukewarm. It's just like the train, right? If the train wrecks and it's completely off the track, more trains are still going by, but if it's half on, half off, you're blocking others.
Right.
So it's that illustration only works so far, but I just think it's very important that what we say is at least in some kind of congruence, and I did say incongruent on Sunday. Come on. Grab your dictionaries, everything. But I mean that there's something that's not a giant disconnect from what we say and how we live.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the problem is. Now, if you explain by your words that this is who I aspire to be, and you're honest with people, I fail in these areas, I'm having trouble here, this is what I know the standard is. That's different from acting all pious and churchy and whatever, and then living totally differently, or your family knows you as a different person than the people at your church know you as. That's a problem, right? A huge disconnect. Maybe I should have just said disconnect. Congruence.
Yeah.
I should have left math out of it. Maybe.
Wouldn't have been so confused.
You're conflating things now. All right, so.
You did that to the congregation.
Hey, come on! You're on a roll tonight. All right, enough of that.
Let's conclude that.
Oh! I tip my hat to you, sir.
Bob's over there going, how does he do
How's
that?
he doing?
It's a constant.
Hey! I knew there was something bubbling up inside you, right?
Constipation.
Any odd words you'd like to?
I concur with you.
Hey! Well, thanks for being with us tonight. That's all we have.
Big concrete.
You know, it's so funny. Jesus tended to, he really always had something pretty harsh to say to the holy, people.
Right, yeah.
Called them out.
Yes.
Almost more than any other group.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Well, it's like, don't misrepresent me. It's like we look at Israel even in the Old Testament, whenever they were, neighboring nations, whatever, they knew them as being people of God, but when they acted in a way where they're worshiping foreign gods or they're doing things wrong, they're misrepresenting the name of the Lord God. And it really torques God off. He doesn't like from according to script. Maybe he wouldn't say it quite like that, but
he might.
But he, it's why it's in the commandments. It's when you're talking about the name of the Lord, he's not just talking about cursing.
Yeah.
He's talking about making his reputation bad.
Right.
And so that theme goes throughout all of the New Testament in many ways. Well, what else, guys? I know we're getting tight on time here.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to get a low.
Yeah,
We got a big disc in there today.
We got hours and hours.
Tune in for the live stream marathon later.
One thing, just to add on to what you were saying a few minutes ago, so the number one word associated with Christianity to people that are not Christians is the word hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a misunderstanding of that word, I think, because we all understand where, in our lives we fall short. And
Absolutely.
we have struggles with sin and stuff. But for us to acknowledge that, even though we struggle with it, and try and work on that, even though we know sometimes, we know that it's wrong, and a lot of times we still fail. That doesn't make us hypocrites. What makes you a hypocrite is if you chastise someone else or see someone else making those mistakes, and you shame them for doing it or come down on them for doing it, but those rules don't apply to me.
Right.
That's where true hypocrisy lies.
Right.
And so there's a difference between those two things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when they view Christianity from the outside, they really mix that up, because the idea that if you're a Christian, you're supposed to be perfect. It's like, no, that's not how it works at all.
It's so true.
We all fail every
imperfect.
day. But to try and work on it and acknowledge where you fall short is the important thing.
Yeah, I think it's one of the devil's favorite things, because to say, "Oh, hypocrite," and that was the last point, right? It was the last thing that I was driving to yesterday. Was as bad as all of these horrible hypocrites were. It's not a situation that gives us an excuse because to not follow Jesus, right? You can't look at the followers. You would hope that all the followers reflect and not keep people from following. But that's just not the case, because we're flawed people. The person that you should be looking to is not just the follower, but the one they're following, or at least say they're following. Is he who he said he is or not? Even if his followers don't measure up, right? So it's not an excuse. You're not going to die, stand before God one day, and point to the other people who didn't do,
Right.
It's all about Him. Did you know Jesus? Is He the Lord? Is He the one who died for us to save us? And so that's the thing. It removes the excuse, and you can also. The very fact that Jesus condemned that is already saying, no, He's with you.
Yeah.
So if you say, well, there are a bunch of hypocrites, He's going, yeah, no, I got on to about that. Do you know me? Are you my fault? So it's based on Him, it's not on us. And we say that a lot to people. Don't follow people, follow Jesus. So if you have even a Christian leader who falls, your faith shouldn't fall. You should be disappointed and sad and hurt, and all of those emotions. But it doesn't shake your faith, because you're not following Pastor so-and-so, right? So if I go rob a bank or whatever.
Is there something
Did I say that out loud?
Is it confession time?
Oh, no. You guys, your faith still should be strong, even because you're not following just me, right? I'm in a certain role, and that's important and all, but just like with any other. So anyway, there's a lot wrapped up in that little passage right there.
Well, and it ties really well to his previous point about Him being the Lord. How does David say that? That the Lord said to my Lord.
Yeah.
Who is Jesus? Jesus is the only person who is never a hypocrite.
Yeah,
exactly. We'll start there. And so if you recognize who Jesus is, then you're going to recognize who you are in Him or out of Him.
Ooh, very good, Bob. That brings us full circle, I think, on this thing. And of course, reminds me of God's incredible love for us, in spite of all of our hypocrisy.
Yeah.
We all go to the grocery store with a bunch of hypocrites as well. It doesn't keep us from going to the grocery store, is what I like to say. Or like my brother used to say, if a hypocrite is standing between you and God, guess who's closer to God? Okay.
That's a good one.
Well, anyway, John 3:16 is where I was driving, but let's forget that one. God loves us all. Who'd like to quote that one tonight?
John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whosoever believes in Him shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen to that. All right, anything else, guys, before we go to final words tonight?
I think we're good.
We're good. We're good.
We actually went overtime.
Hey!
We would have run out of.
We would have run out. Awesome. Okay, well, you know what? We meet somewhere in the world every single week. You can usually find us online on Facebook. Search for Compass Church Colorado. You can discover more at compassdenver.com. We'd love to have you as our guest this Sunday. All right, final words, guys.
Love you guys. Love everyone out there.
Likewise.
This has been great because he is great.
Maybe I need a dramatic pause.
I was just waiting for Bob to finish the rest
Yes.
No.
I was like, no, we don't do that.
Hey, grace to you and peace. That's all we have for tonight. We are out. I mean, we're so out.
Bye. So fun.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
Oh, my gosh.
Have you guys seen the movie Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom?
Yeah.